Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art, WSU Pullman. I'm Kristen Becker, the Curator of Education and Programs here at the museum. We're really pleased to be collaborating with the Office of the Provost and the National Day of Racial Healing Steering Committee today, also with the English Department and English Department faculty, honors faculty, students, staff from the Common Reading program as well. Everyone has contributed a lot to the 3 programs we've been offering at the museum today for the National Day of Racial Healing. There are a lot of other really exciting things happening, not just on our campus, but on all the campuses for WSU today. So I think that our exhibitions that we currently have on view in the museum are the reason that the 3 programs we offered today were possible. Those exhibitions are Jeffrey Gibson, They Teach Love, from the collections of the Jordan Schnitzer Family Foundation, and Here in a Homemade Forest, Common Reading Connections, which is an exhibition that was curated in response to the Common Reading book, Breeding Sweetgrass. So the artists in these exhibitions very much respond to the themes involved with the National Day of Racial Healing. I hope that if you haven't had a chance to see the works in these shows, you'll stay after the program today. We're open till 4 o'clock. Also, the exhibitions will be on view until early March. So come before spring break and you'll have a chance to see the voices of those artists. We're really pleased today to hear from writers and authors that are really crucial for the topics of the day. And I'd like to invite Cameron McGill up to the mic to introduce Writers Give Voice. Thank you, Cameron, for helping at planning this day for us and this program for us.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Thank you, Kristen, and the museum staff for your partnership in organizing and hosting today's events. And also thank you and gratitude to Trymaine Gaither and the entire National Day of Racial Healing Steering Committee for their guidance and vision in making this day happen across WSU. My name is Cameron McGill. I'm a member of the English department here at WSU and the co-director of WSU's Visiting Writers Series. I'd like to begin with a land acknowledgement, which we consider an important, albeit first step in addressing the longer commitment to and process of racial healing. Washington State University Pullman is located on the homelands of the Nimiipuu and the traditional homeland of the Palouse Band of indigenous people. We acknowledge their presence here since time immemorial and recognize their continuing connection to the land, to the water, to their ancestors. WSU Pullman expresses its deepest respect for and gratitude towards these original and current caretakers of the region. We pledge that these relationships will consist of mutual trust, respect, and reciprocity. Welcome to the Writers Give Voice, a second annual Writers Give Voice, and it's going to be a reading and an open mic. And again, thank you, Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art, for hosting. This is a wonderful space for art, obviously, and poetry as well. We're glad you've joined us here today as part of WSU's second annual National Day of Racial Healing, whose theme is Tell the Story, Heal the Heart. We hope this event makes space for healing dialogues through the sharing of poetry, and that it supports and promotes empathetic practices and compassion in and outside of the classroom. I'm going to share a brief statement from the National Day of Racial Healing organizers, which are part of the Kellogg Foundation's Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation efforts. This event is given in that spirit of solidarity, restoration, empathy, and respect. Quote, racial healing is at the heart of racial equity. Racism affects all of us, whether we are aware of it or not. It affects our ability to know, relate to, and value one another. Embedded in every one of our systems, racism is one of the biggest obstacles to solving the challenges we face in our communities. Creating a brighter future starts with racial healing, a process that restores individuals and communities to wholeness. It's about bringing communities together, building relationships based on truth-telling, trust, and mutual respect, and laying the groundwork to take transformative action together. Unquote. Joining us today are several campus civic poets, past and present, creative writing students, faculty advisors, and student editors of some of WSU's esteemed creative writing publications and RSOs, including Landscapes, Blood Orange Review, Cougar's Pen, and Harpies. But first, prior to our in-person reading, we'd like to play 2 video submissions from poets who could not join us today in person, but who wanted to share their work with you. So we thank you, Ali Pang and Jada Rome, for your contributions.
Hi, everyone. It's your most recent Campus Civic Poet here, Jada Rome, and I'm super excited to be sharing my work. While I'm not able to be in person, I hope that y'all can still feel the poetic rage through the screen. So I'm going to be reading a poem I wrote titled, I'm Not a Racist. I am not a racist because I have Black friends. I'm not a racist because I don't see color. In my eyes, all races are equal. I'm not a racist because I said, "What's up, brother?" to my Black coworker, and I only thought that a Black man with his children in the store were gonna rob me once. I touched a little Black girl's hair down my street, compared it to a dog. Her mother was upset, but why? Did I lie? Was I wrong? I only say nigga when Biggie or Tupac is playing because times were different, and I can't stop myself from singing it in a song. So what? I called the cops on the 14-year-old Black boy. People took my side. He could have been a criminal. How was I supposed to know he was a kid? I didn't mean to sexualize that 13-year-old Black girl. She looked like she was 24, and I still believe she was grown. And I'm not a racist because my friend Aunt's best friend brother voted for Obama. But I get it. I really do. You see, I kneel to tie my shoe like they kneeled on George Floyd. And when I went jogging in the park, I remember how Central 5 got convicted like Emmett Till for a white woman they didn't even touch. I can't sleep without my dreams being filled with the Innocent Project, 17 pages full of Black and brown men being wrongly incarcerated. But nobody cares about the Declaration of Independence. And I sing a slave song singing the pledge, and the Constitution of the United States was not written for me to be free. And Black bodies, Black pain, Black death sentence, Black babies and mothers and society and fathers. And I capitalize the word Black so my people can be at the start of the sentence or anywhere else they want to be. To be free without hanging from trees, living in a city without redlining, being the first Black president, letting true American history, not one that is arrested, letting my hair thrive with nature, expressing my voice with my Black body and my Black attitude, to not be experimented on, to not have government officials that build my country upset and putting drugs in it, to rip off the Confederate flag that you wave so proudly, claiming, oh, heritage, not hate. And you want me to say thank you when you say, I'm not into Black women, but I'll give you a chance. Praise your mouth when you didn't call that Black boy a nigga when you took a stroll. Promote your presence because you got rid of your white supremacy tattoo. Please, because you finally learned that my family was ripped away with their souls and their minds and their bodies and their Blackness to build your country. But you understand, you're not a racist. And I get it. Because I get it too. Thank you.
A trick of the light. In late nights, I'm like a streetlight, built to be better equipped, better lit, under starlight. Creative bulbs switching on as soon as it's night. Prided on coffeeless caffeination, my secret, be a writer with procrastination. They say I'm like a streetlight. I'm the nightlight to guide cars from Malka and from Mackay, across the sleeping island to home. Giving myself to warm moth's wings, a pit stop to rejuvenate, safe from the dark. The moths say I'm like a streetlight that ignites an LED hums, who stands endlessly bright because even when the clouds come, they say I'll always be there. They say I am the healer. They say I am the answer. They say they trust me I stay, hoping to undo their shadows. I say comforts. I'll never waver. I'm never weak. My steel will hold. Trust me, I know it's cold. You're not alone. If I'm a streetlight, I'm needed, right? Take a fragment of this luster and keep it until you're okay. I hope you'll bring it back, but I know it doesn't work that way. Just be like a streetlight. Don't speak. Keep these weaknesses. Let them seep beneath. Feel, don't feel. Steal confidence and fixate it beneath the lip of this light, stitching faster through these fractures so they don't see, they can't see, or they'll replace this broken me. You're their streetlight. They came to you. If you're not burning in this dark, if you flicker a second of a sputter of a cough, you're caught. A streetlight who isn't the continuous light that they thought. Like a streetlight, I'm burning in the night. To a moth, I'm warmth. I'm the sun it never sees, the false moon of my street, an eternal nightlight I'll never be. But I'm not a streetlight. Or at least that can't be all I am. I don't live shrouded in the dark. I don't rely on an electric grid. I don't die when my power is cut. I'm not like a streetlight. I am powered by sun, by smile, by laugh, by clumsy chaotic dances, by deep breaths, by placing boundaries, by laying understanding, by creating shared trust. My light needs to rest. To rest is not weakness. I am not less, not thought less of. This I cannot stress enough. Like a streetlight. Not having the life of a streetlight. I used to think like a streetlight, living in the illusion that to shine you must burn. To save you must sacrifice. In shards and pieces my light has scattered across moths' wings, lifted spirits then discarded. The more light spent, the less there was of anything left. I'm not a streetlight, because I am okay enough to just exist, unlit, to sit in shadow, to know some will stay, no matter if my light is beaming, or if I'm gleaning only enough to breathe. I am more than my simile. This metaphor is not my finale. I say, I'm like a human, not burning, not blessed to be everyone's light. I'm like a human. I'm alive.
Thank you, Ali Pang, who is our Campus Civic Poet in 2021, and Jada Rome, who is going to be starting as Campus Civic Poet in the fall of 24. So much talent in our creative writing classes here at WSU, and it's a joy to watch students write these poems and read them and bring to bear their experiences. So I would like to begin our in-person reading. First of all, make sure you give everybody some love today when they're coming up here to read. We have some great poets joining us, welcoming our first reader in WSU Pullman's newest, Spring 24 Campus Civic Poet, Danny Dudarov. Is that all right?
Sure. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for coming, and thank you to Cameron for setting this whole thing up. I think it's so important to just share the power of poetry and telling these stories. I have 2 poems for you today, and I was just thinking about, there's a little bit of a theme here of just talking about finding hope and keeping hope so tightly to your heart in seemingly impossible situations, amidst violence, amidst war, amidst racial violence. And I was thinking about this quote by James Baldwin. I have never been in despair about the world. I am enraged by it. I can't afford despair. You can't tell the children there's no hope. I wrote this first poem called Pale Blue Dot, and I ended up naming it after, I thought it was necessary to talk about Palestine. And I ended up naming it after the national bird of Palestine, which is the Palestine sunbird, who is identifiable by its beautiful blue feathers. The Palestine sunbird was declared the national bird of Palestine in 2015 after Israeli officials tried to change its name to erase Palestinian identity. So this is called Pale Blue Dot. There is something to say about faith, how I prayed to God to give me something to believe again, until the world stayed quiet too long to be sure of anything. When the roof caved in, there were no miracles. There never are. When she tells me she'll always be with me, she is not. I draw flowers for her, knowing she isn't there. A boy knocks down a tree. A mother falls ill. The bullets are shot. Only in pictures the home stands. But still, it stands. In between frames, flashes of a field of yellow and green. The house becomes. You hold water in your hands. They turn into something else. We drink from the cracks in the glass. In places I cannot imagine, they drink ash. They tell me faith is all that remains. A child draws the speck amongst the rubble, a blue dot. Her father turns into a bird. Thank you. The second one is by Denez Smith, and it was written following the murder of Michael Brown. It's called Little Prayer. Let ruin end here. Let him find honey where there was once a slaughter. Let him enter the lion's cage and find a field of lilacs. Let this be the healing, and if not, let it be. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. I'd like to bring up Gil Rezin, who's going to read a couple poems for you. Gil, thank you.
I'll raise it up a little bit. Thank you. I have two poems to read for you today, both of which are ekphrastic poems. They are poems that reference the artworks in the exhibition in the museum here in a homemade forest. And so the titles of these pieces are also the titles of the artworks there. So this first one is titled Evening Song. Evening song glows in the dim light. I sit beneath a tree, the air orange and buzzing with warmth. The shade is unnecessary. The heat is fading rapidly. Sky gradients, yellow, orange, red, purple, black. The darkness above glimmers with faraway lands. Rustling, a small bird, no larger than 2 fistfuls, lands upon the tree. The branches calmly sway. I glance up, they glance back. We listen through each other's eyes. Our message is clear. This is no one's space, but everyone's space. There is no human land, or bird land, or tree land, or sun land. To coexist is necessary to all. The bird gives its thanks and begins to sing its evening song. The second one is titled Companion Species. The path is illuminated only by the street lamps I walk by, scattered with scrap metal and used bullet shells. Occasionally, a car whooshes past, splashing through large puddles, soaking my jeans wet. That isn't water, I tell myself. The dark red splatter clashes with my outfit. The path stops at an intersection. When making a left, I spot the warm glow and sound and am reminded of a man singing about love over war, of one family united against hate, His golden glow radiates through windows. Thank you.
Thank you, Gil. Thank you, Gil. We'd like to bring up Esme Jimenez Diaz. She's going to read a few poems for you as well.
Hi, my name is Esme. I'll be reading 2 poems. They don't have names, but they're both inspired by artworks in the exhibition. This first one is inspired by Jeffrey Gibson's Stand Your Ground, a garment that's hanging inside. The ones who heard of a better life, and the ones who had a dream, and those who became dreamers. The ones who carried their miracles on their hips and backs for endless days out of the motherland. The ones that fought like soldiers to make it happen, and the ones who struggled for years to make ends meet. And the ones who cried gold tears in times of loneliness and failure. These are the ones who brought me here. The ones who made opportunities and paved the way for me to run. These are the ones who stand their ground. The second poem is inspired by James Lavador, The Fog Lives in the Ground. I have left the bones of our ruins behind where I know I won't return. I left them in pieces, like broken Chinese porcelain, and to me it was still so beautiful. Its white dust filled my lungs and flooded my mind with the memories of our struggle. I don't want to reminisce on a time I gave everything and received nothing. I tell myself a million times over again that it's not me, that I'm not the only one who carries the guilt. As I leave what I thought was my home, I can't help but grab a piece to carry with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Esme. I'd like to bring up Rose Maliki. She's going to read a poem for you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rose, and I use she, her pronoun. I'm a third-year PhD student in language, literacy, and technology education. The poem I wrote was in the middle of working on my preliminary exam, and I'm working on genderism in textbooks. So I was really overwhelmed when I was writing my preliminary that after all these years of working for social justice and gender equity and all this, we're still fighting for it, and we still see lots of, denial. I really want to say racism is part of a problem, and denying that racism is another, which makes it really more complicated than we think. In the middle of writing books and articles and answering those 3 questions, I found something very interesting that helped me overcome that fatigue, that sadness, that why don't I see the change? And I found the answer in changing our point of view from giving voice to people to helping them come to voice. So if the justification behind it is that if I give someone something, I can have it back whenever I want to. And I think that person should be grateful for what I gave them. But if we help them use the potentials they have, and whenever they are ready, whatever they need to come to voice, this is something that we can never take away from them. And this is what inspired me to write this poem. Thank you for listening to my story. Uh, it's titled Once Upon a Time, Me. Once upon a time, there was a me, and me knew who and where she was. I was just a woman in my own land, but time came when I had to pause and look at myself through the mirror. Was it really me, or was it a new self? What happened suddenly to my dreams and vows? I was just a doll, an elf on the shelf, who was supposed to live quietly and move silently like a shadow to pretend me was standing tall, proud, and cool when me was falling, was about to bend. Once upon a time, there was a me, and me knew she was a woman of success. I ended up being the intersection of this and that, here and there, I confess. If you really care, do not give me voice. Give me back the treasure I deserve. I should come to voice and add to the world, to this beautiful community I every day serve. Once upon a time, there was a me who learned diversity is our asset. In a community you truly belong, there should be me and not silhouette. I'm sure you agree with me that diversity requires new definition. To make you believe you belong to others, we all need equity and recognition. Once upon a time, I was only a woman. Now I'm a woman of color, and I see every day that with your advocacy, I don't have to bend. I can again stand. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rose. Let's see here. Is Zach Garner here by any chance? Zach? No? Okay. Thought he might want to read a poem, so I was going to give him a chance to. Trymaine, would you like to come up and read a poem? Is it a good time? Or Trymaine Gaither, everyone.
Already about to slip on something, pretending not to be nervous. Okay, my name is Tremaine Gaither, he, him pronouns. I am going to read a poem by Anna Villalobos titled Just For Me. The reason I chose this poem, because I think it encapsulates the essence of the intention behind the National Day of Racial Healing. What if a poem were just for me? What if I were audience enough because I am? Because this person here is alive, is flesh, is conscious, has feelings, counts. What if this one person mattered not just for what he or she can do in the world, but because he or she is part of the world and has a soft and tender heart? What if that heart mattered? If kindness to this one mattered? What if she were not distinct from all others, but instead connected to others in his or her sense of being distinct, of being alone, of being uniquely isolated, the one piece removed from the picture, all while vulnerable under deep layers of sedimentary defense? Oh, let me hide. Let me be ultimately great, ultimately shy. Remove me, then I don't have to be. But I am. Through all the antics of distinctness from others or not really there-ness, I remain. No matter what my disguise, genius, idiot, glorious, scum, underneath, it's still just me. Still here, still warm and breathing and human, with another chance to simply say hi and recognize my tenderness and be just a little bit kind to this one as well, because he or she too counts. So.
That's a beautiful poem. A round of applause for all the scheduled readers that read our poems today. Great. We're going to open up the back half of this programming is an open mic. Many of you are familiar with this and hopefully attend the English department's open mic. We have some flyers in the back of the room there on the ledge by the, what do I call that? A ledge by the intro, the foyer, the desk. It's over there. Yeah? And you can pick up some flyers as well as some poems if you're looking to read a poem but don't have one on you. We've got a couple packets of poems that you can leaf through. Would anyone like to start us off in the open mic? Brian? Yeah, all right. Come on up.
How you all doing today? So my stage name is Weirdo. A lot of my friends, athletic friends, thought it was weird, some of the music I chose to listen to and my interest in writing poetry and things of that nature. So they said, you're a weirdo. So I just took it and made it my stage name. The exciting thing about today is I don't normally get to read the poetry. So I just put this piece together last week, and I get to read it, so because I haven't practiced to perform it. So what I would like to do is do this one, and then 2 snippets of some other work that I've done that I can perform for you. So this is called Expect Your Expectations. I plan to hold you down just like I said I would. I have decided to give you 100 of my heartbeats. Even if I were to find 10 dimes in these streets, I want to be so tapped into you that I don't even have to ask if you've come. The evidence will be apparent on my sheets and in your smile. I give you love, attention, and respect. Your expectations you should expect. I have never felt too tired to love you, mostly inspired by my point of view. I've asked God for a special life. I believe He's given me that through a lack of strife. Oh my gosh. How about you challenge me to balance me? What good are all these royalties that I'm receiving without a queen to multiply and divide them with? So tonight when I lay me down to sleep and pray to the Lord my soul to keep, I'm going to ask God to soften my heart and increase the beats. I want to pour into this woman as she pours into me, cherish this woman as she addresses my trauma and my freak. I give you love, attention, and respect. Your expectations you should expect. Our egos will never get too big to fit the crowns we both accept. These branches and vines hold our fruit. We be the stump and God be our root. So many of you talking about it's God's plan, and half of you haven't even seen the inside of the church. Amen. I've been very careful where I've chosen to plant my seed. You see, these words don't come from mixtapes and rapping MCs. I truly believe. I'm ready for love. 2 hearts, 2 souls, 1 agenda, an agreement of egos and life goals with a compromising future. And more importantly, the salvation of 2 sinners. I am ready to surrender. I want that stability that comes with 2 people, 2 hearts, 2 souls, 1 agenda. No lies, no pride, just 2 hearts, 2 souls, 1 agenda. It's rare that the one your eyes like is the same one you're with when the vibe's right. It's almost like I'm looking for 2 people, my spirit animal and my equal. That after a couple of spirits turns into an animal that enjoys sequels. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. So I have these words, and it's not coming out the way I wanted to because I still need to practice. I'm not a reader. So I would like to perform one, give you a snippet of another one that I've done. This is called Sons and Daughters, and it goes like this. Every word in this poem is going to be about you. Loving you is a thrill in pain. Ain't no shame in my game. Hell, I'm the one who made her my main. You know, I should just work with her instead of putting that hurt in her. I didn't understand the love that was in her. In love, I'm just a beginner. And right now, it seems to be no winners. This was supposed to be our 6th winter. For we met in May, now repelling by September. But the tears I shed just seems to get bigger and bigger. a low down dirty nigga. That's what she called me. And like birds in the polluted sky, we falling and dying. It haunts me, baby, I'm sorry. And there's probably no way we parlay with each other again. Maintaining friends is a problem. All the silence between us just makes my heart harder, like experience is supposed to make us smarter. But see, I hurt my partner. And my father told me love is a misunderstood word between two fools. And a true fool like me is destined to lose. You see, I hurt my girl, and now nothing seems to work in my world without her. I doubt if a few friends ever knew what I thought about her, that she was a broken flower. I tried to get that self-hatred up out of her. She didn't know she was a star. Maybe I should have prayed about her. God would have stopped that little molehill from turning into a major mountain, and my eyes wouldn't run like fountains because I caught feelings. But that ain't what I wanted. You know, I done played that game and taught it. It's a long way from where we started, and I ain't really about that no more. And they say payback is a mother. Well, you know, I've done that to a lot of girls, so it makes common sense for you to make me feel how pain gets intense when love straddles the fence. Yeah, baby, I'm in love with you, but there is consequences in loving you. The addiction is here again, and the new drug is you. But you know I'm through with drugs, another lady dragging me through the mud. Okay, fellas, good sex don't mean good love. So yeah, it's been done, and yeah, there are tears. I'm all man, and I'm still real, and I ain't scared to show none of y'all how I feel. Because wisdom is all that's gonna come. You know, I met some facts of life, and baby just taught me something that got me numb. I'm gonna stop there, y'all. I just wanted to give you a snippet, sorry. With that? One snippet? Okay. This is another snippet of another one. This is called Legs and Thighs. Brown people, white people, black people. They're making that fried chicken with addiction in it. You hit MLK, there's Popeyes, Churches, KFC, and Bojangles. Black folks, that chicken is addiction. Legs and thighs fried, 6 feet tall and fine. I'm telling you, they put something in that chicken. Lips, face pretty, hair short, breasts. Ass nice, back tatted, hands long, eyes sweet. Great price for that quality dark meat. Teach you to be a natural woman, not to lay down for the next man coming. Hold your word and your child. Marriage is for life. A baby is a blessing. Thank you. I'll stop. I just wanted to share with you.
McCabe is a little high. I wasn't gonna read, but my friend Brian inspired me. Isn't he fantastic, y'all? Yeah. So I'm gonna read a poem I wrote a month ago called Winter Solstice Prayer. After weeks, years of growing darkness, let us mark a shift. Let every day forward hold incrementally more light. Let us call out for it, co-create it. Be brave enough in winter to envision summer. It is an act of faith to trust the sun to return, to believe it our divine right. An act of faith to move towards a better world we can't see yet, can only imagine with our most free and loving hearts. Revolution is an act of faith. So is world building. What prayer more courageous than the one that believes the opposite can and will be true? To sit in the night as it deepens and darkens and trust in a shift, a turning point. Not only trust it to arrive, but trust it to continue. While the sun returns of its own accord, these other winters, the ones we have created, will not shift on their own. We must make our own solstice. Act with a faith that's irrational towards a vision that exists beyond logic. We must fight each day for a little more sun, knowing we will one day reach summer. Envision it with me. Let's hold hands and birth it. Let us cease to increase this winter and grow and let glow the light of liberation. Thank you.
I'm I'm going to be reading a poem I actually wrote in Jeff's class last semester. So look at that. This was an ABCDarium poem, and it is specifically about my experience with being a Sami Indigenous person. A lap, that's what they call us, because our clothes are flabby, because we can't seem to wash our own skin. Doubt they ever would. Ever learn to clean their own mouths. Frankly, it's better if they don't. Good even, because if they don't, hell will know their names. I have no forgiveness for them. Just because when I choose my outfits, I know, I will ask myself, does it scream Laplander? Many people won't even know my people exist. Only 10,000 of us left. People try to tell me that we died out long ago. Nevertheless, if I don't dress fitted enough, obscenities of the word lap will in doubt protrude on my skin. Quit the self-colonization, I tell myself, because the real enemy won't even call us by a real name, Sami. That is who we are, and if we try, just maybe, Uppsala, Sweden won't tell us. Verklinget sked evolution duard. The translation is, what a pitiful stage in evolution you are. What a pity of them to believe such lies. X-ray us like naked circus animals. They will only find themselves glaring back. Zoos are not where we belong. Thank you.
Colin, come on over here.
My name's Colin. He, him, his. I'm going to read a poem by Ashley Jones from her book Reparations Now, which I encourage you all to check out at the library and read. This is called Stefan, Don't You Moan, or To Serve and Protect. And there's an epigram here. 22-year-old father of two, Stefan Clark, was shot 20 times on March 19th, 2018, by Sacramento police in his grandmother's backyard. The gun police claimed to have seen him carrying was his iPhone. Is there a police protocol for grace? For the moment between show us your hands and shoot? That night, policeman, servant of the gun, did you give space for a man's innocence to bloom? Despite the loaded weight of your finger on the trigger, despite how the night painted that man bigger, made him a giant with a fireball in his hands. Despite the loud explosion of your fright, innocence is for softer things. An open, empty palm, a blooming flower, a spread of rocks becoming sand. Silly civilization, you thought we'd evolved beyond abuse of power. But again, a pruning. What a flower you were, Stefan. And what holiness in your body opening, petaled in the white helicopter light. This, an Armageddon of bullets, flowers, stars, stripes. Thank you.
Thanks, Colin. Who would like to read? Who'd like to be our next reader? If you need encouragement, we can provide that. Anyone? Linda, yeah, please come up.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Linda Russo, and I'm the Director of Creative Writing, and I'm also one of the advisors of the open mic at Bruised Books, and these are the flyers that Cameron was mentioning earlier, so be sure and grab one. I hope you all come out for open mics. We have 6 open mics scheduled this semester, and the first one will be on January 25th in the evening at Bruised Books, starting at 6 p.m. Refreshments are provided, and I hope, I'm just so honored to be amongst such great creative individuals, beautiful work. I'm really wowed. Thank you all for contributing to this community and raising your voices. The poem I'm going to read. So I've been kind of a poet in residence of the native Palouse Prairie, and which exists in thousands of remnants. And of course, when I moved here 15 years ago, I was like, what is this landscape about? Why is it like this? What happened to this place? I'd never lived in an industrial agricultural landscape before and had a deep curiosity about the history of this land. So I sought out the prairie remnants and started learning all kinds of things about the prairie. Of course, I could go on and on and on, but my point being that first thinking about the prairie remnant as an ecological problem led me to thinking about it as a cultural problem, right? That we have a very, greedy culture that takes and takes from the land, and these spaces, the former lands of the indigenous people of this land, keep shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and so I bring my voice into that space, and in the process over these years, I've been thinking about it. I got over being, I don't want to say I got over being angry, but I started to see these spaces, these prairie remnants, as spaces of future possibility, because the prairie remnants speak of the relationship of people to the land. And Robin Wall Kimmerer talks about this in Braiding Sweetgrass in the essay, The Honorable Harvest, when she goes out to harvest the leeks to make soup for her family. First she asks permission of the leeks. May I, and she brings an offering of tobacco, and and if there aren't, if the leeks aren't abundant that year, she doesn't harvest them. She goes on and she lets that community of plants thrive. And I think sometimes hands off is a good policy. Anyway, I've learned a lot about sitting. I wanted to make the connection with, of course, the camas flower here exists in that same relationship with the indigenous people of this place, that it's by seasonal harvesting of the camas plants and the camas bulbs which the Palouse people and the Nimipu roasted and ate. The actual act of harvesting is an act of reciprocity, because it helps when you separate out the bulbs and you create space, and it actually helps the plants thrive. So those are my lessons. It's like, know when to keep my hands off, and also know when there is some helpful kind of interaction that could happen. And so, as I said, I'm going to read you this poem. I don't know if it exactly connects with what I was just saying, but that's kind of the thought context out of which this poem comes. And I wrote it over last summer as I was spending a lot of time, as I said, in residence of a very large, it's all relative, but 300 plus acre Palouse Prairie remnant. And here's my poem. How to be native Palouse Prairie. Return yearly like the perennial you are. Allow each plant to move at her own pace into realization. Let some live their whole lives here. Let others pass through. Refuse instrumentalization. Resist industrial modernity's complete colonization. Let knowledge traditions find their right forms. Offer refuge to goddess, coyote, and catchfly. Offer stands of milkweed to monarch butterfly, whose larvae require a food found only in their limbs. Offer purple asters to late summer's hungry bees. Don't ever feel alone. Grant the fair and equitable treatment of all plant, animal, and human persons. Allow their memories and their kin memories to come. Host innumerable flowering plants and their 16 species of beekin. Allow the netter of flies and the counter of bees their hours in their fields. Make sensible the value of 16 species of beekin and innumerable flowering plants besides. Allow the deepening scent of ponderosa pine bark to mean what's sweetest to those who breathe in. Be orbital, ephemeral, ancient, eternal. Make the sacred visible to the human eye. Admit the impermanence of all human endeavor. Say, it's not just that we were destroyed, it's that we survive. It's that our survivance brings forth critical knowledge. Generate sympathy through your fragile cryptogamic crust in all whose feet land with unavoidable crunching. Let all seekers form deep roots. Never let them take the same path twice. Help them prepare for what will come. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to read? It's 2:40. We have 5 minutes. Can accomplish a lot of things in 5 minutes. Anyone? Again, I will look at everyone individually, taking up 2 of these 5 minutes. Let's just see. Donna, would you like to read? Please.
Take me a second to find this. Oh, wow, it's near the end. Okay, this poem's called Chicory. It's in memory of a professor I had when it was the equivalent of a running start student. I was in high school when I had him, Joe Lambert. One night when death kept her awake, she called him and he made coffee with chicory, the way they drank it down south in Mississippi, where he got his manners and his drawl. Before he was a professor, he was a preacher, until one Sunday when white ushers removed 3 black guests, and he'd stood up and said, "If your heaven is segregated, I'd just as soon not go there." He told this story in class one day, just as the moral majority revealed itself to be neither, just as she was trying to decide what, if any, heaven she wanted. Years later in Oklahoma, she sees fragile blue flowers by a roadside scattered with Indian graves. Chicory, her mother tells her, a Cherokee tonic for nerves. Blue flower, symbol of impossible strivings, from the glass menageries' blue roses to the blue flame of her father's eyes before he self-destructed. But the professor's eyes were also blue, so blue his wife fell into them and stayed. Blue sailors, destined for some port beyond us all, for some heaven where we might live in peace. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for joining us today and for sharing your words and your work with everyone. A big thanks to Trymaine and to Kristen for hosting and for putting together the whole day. And I'm going to, this is a very short poem that we screen printed last year at this event, and I've kept a stack of them in my office. And This is, I think, maybe one of the best poems ever written. It's by a poet and writer named Ross Gay. A small needful fact is that Eric Garner worked for some time for the Parks and Rec Horticulture Department, which means perhaps that with his very large hands, perhaps in all likelihood, he put gently into the earth some plants, which most likely, some of them, in all likelihood, continue to grow, continue to do what such plants do, like house and feed small and necessary creatures, like being pleasant to touch and smell, like converting sunlight into food, like making it easier for us to breathe. Thank you, Ross Gay, for that poem. Thank you for joining us today. And if you haven't checked out the exhibit in the back room, please spend some time. I think they're open till 4 o'clock. Thanks to AOI for making this happen, for the live stream, for the folks that Jada and Ali for submitting videos, and everyone who came up and read their work. Thank you for putting all of our hearts together. Yeah? All right. Take care.